So firstly, thank you very much for the invitation to come and speak. As Pete said, I was a delegate to Trades Council for a while. I'm a member of UCU at the university. I've been a researcher at Cambridge University since I think I arrived in 2009, which is a scarily long time ago. And never in that period have I been, although I've always been a union member, my whole employment at Cambridge, at the University of Cambridge, has been in actually a large union branch, which has not been recognised formally by management. And we have decided to, in our branch, launch a campaign for recognition because we feel it is completely unacceptable for Cambridge to be the only public university in Britain which doesn't recognise UCU. Now, as I'm sure Trades Council delegates will be aware, UCU is the union that represents around 120,000 members of staff across higher and further education in England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. We represent largely academic staff, but we also have among our members academic related and professional staff categories. And essentially we are the only union which it represents very large numbers of academic staff. Every other university pretty much in the country, there's maybe one or two exceptions, formally recognises UCU. And it is a particularly egregious situation to be in at Cambridge because it's not like there's a handful of union members. We have a branch that now has a membership. Well, last time we checked, which was during the strikes, we had about 2,000 members. And in fact, the branch has grown dramatically during the period I've been at the university. When I first joined, to be honest, it was much less active than it is today. It has been hugely boosted through the active campaigns that we've run, which actually reflect the kind of growing anger and frustration among a whole layer of academics and academic related staff about the way that they are being treated by universities. This isn't something that's unique to Cambridge. It's something that is actually found across the sector, where issues such as casualisation are a huge blight on the way that universities work. Cambridge has a particularly casualised culture of work, with a very large proportion of the teaching and a large proportion of research is done by people who don't have secure contracts. I mean, in many cases, a lot of the teaching, despite the fact that Cambridge, prides itself on being a very wealthy, old, prestigious, global university, relies on hourly paid teaching, which ends up being remunerated sometimes at levels that actually work out at being less than the minimum wage. When you take into account all the unpaid labour that goes into preparation, the fact that often people who are doing supervisions don't get paid for the training that they're expected to do, and so on and so forth. We need to be recognised in order to be able to fight more effectively for our rights. I mean, it's not stopped us from going on strike, from mobilising to defend our pensions. Our pensions are under attack again, to mobilising to defend our pay, our conditions, to fight for equality, to take on things like the gender pay gap, the race pay gap through national strike action. And our branch has been built up through huge, campaigns and mobilisation, with hundreds of people on picket lines. And, we have, throughout those strikes, we've always seen the Trades Council affiliates coming down there, bringing banners. Pete and Jill brought cakes one of the times we were on strike, and we've worked alongside, to mobilise solidarity along sister unions who've been on strike. So I remember last time we were on in our last major round of strikes, we coincided with some strike action taken by colleagues in the NEU union and organised jointly protests and pickets with them. So essentially, the position that we're at is we have launched a formal claim for recognition. And again, this is not the first time that we've done this. We have we've asked for recognition a number of times, asked the university to negotiate a recognition agreement with us a number of times in the past, and have been knocked back and refused every time. This time, we think that one of the reasons why the university indicated it might be willing to start negotiations is actually because, again, of the force of the strike action that we took and the solidarity from students who occupied university administration buildings. And one of their demands was, in fact, to recognise UCU. They took over the old schools building in the heart of the university administration and named it as Solidarity College, and they officially recognised UCU. So, you know, one of the things that we've really taken forward from that is how important it is to work together with students and to stand in solidarity with each other. I'm happy to take kind of questions or get some, if anyone's wants to ask particulars about the campaign. I would just say that there are some concrete things that you could do. We have a petition, which is public petition, anyone can sign. It's got about 700 signatures on it. It would be fantastic if you could circulate to your members, get people to get involved. That would be one very concrete thing you could do. There's also an option to get updates and so on from the petition, which would be great if you could sign up for so that we can let you know if the campaign moves into other phases, because we know that it's likely to be an uphill battle. Just to give you an indication of the difficulties that we're facing, the university has made a first opening offer where it has offered to recognise only academic grades of staff. It has separated off people who are on research contracts like myself, despite the fact that this is, you know, pretty much a very unusual way of thinking about academic staff versus research staff. And it has refused to offer recognition also for academic related and professional staff. Our position as a branch is that we want recognition for everybody, that it isn't fair. For example, I've been at the university for 12 years. Why should I be denied having the right of having a recognised union who could, you know, who could represent me formally in negotiations with management? This is a really divide and rule tactic, I think, and it's very important that we show the university that there is massive public support for our campaign, because it will really boost the confidence of our members when they feel that if they feel that they've got the backing of the rest of the local trade union movement. So I'll leave it there, but as I said, I'm very happy to take questions, and I can post into the chat all the details of the petition that you can sign and some of the materials that you can circulate for background on our campaign. Thanks again for the invitation.